The Filthy Show has extremely explicit content. It is not intended for children, adults, or anyone really, especially retards without a sense of humor. If you offend easily, please fuck off now. All right, welcome to another episode of The Filthy Show. I'm your host, Adam Luckey. My co-host, as always, is the big titty man, Chris Rees, whose tits legitimately look like a woman's tits.
No, they don't.
Oh my
God.
God.
Don't look like women's tits.
No, you 100% could jack off to him. Absolutely you could. In prison...
I have woken up to Adam jacking off to them.
That's not true.
Really
but in
upsetting.
prison, your job would be to just hold them together and just stand somewhere. And there's just a line of guys lined up, and they bust all over.
They're lining up to do it?
Yeah. You got the best tits in the house.
Can I set the hours of it, though?
No. Yeah. First off, it's an all-day thing for you. There's enough men.
I'm going to have good working hours, like from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
It's a 9 to 5 gig. And before we introduce our guests, I just want to clarify something. I got a message saying that we have nothing but white male guests. And I just want to say it's not because we're sexist. It's not because we're racist. It's because black people are unreliable and women aren't funny. So first off, don't judge us when we have facts that back up why we don't have those people on our podcast. We had 17 different black comedians booked for this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And they all pulled out at the same time. We booked them together just
then
in
we
case.
found ourselves a nice, white, reliable man.
Galyn did it on like 30 minutes notice.
Which is cool.
Actually paid us to do it. Gave us $500 just to be on a podcast. That's how hard it is for white comics now.
Yeah, you got to do something.
Yeah, I guess it's Galyn Nash. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. But now, do you think you could have someone fuck your belly button? Like, is it deep enough?
Mm-hmm.
My belly button?
Yeah.
Nah, dude.
Like, if I was in jail, I don't think I would just want your tits.
My belly button might be deeper than Chris's.
Yeah,
real?
maybe.
I have a pretty deep belly button. Tommy Pope saw it the other day and called it monkey bread. And I didn't really like how that made me feel.
Like monkey bread, that would be an outie belly button.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It was
monkey
funny.
bread's that like honey glaze at the top, and it
It's like
funnels
that-
out with a bunch of lumps.
Yeah, he has a lot of glaze on his belly button.
It's like one of those David Lucas roasts. It doesn't make sense, but it's said with such confidence. People just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Why you wear sunglasses? Because your mother fucked your dad in the butt, you gay popsicle eating looking ass. You're like, what? Looking ass ties it together. For
So
black
do you
people.
have a deep enough belly button to be fucked?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you had like a tiny little pecker, I guess you could get
Why'd
it.
you ask it like you wanted to do it though?
He does have a
Like
tiny
the
little
voice
pecker.
inflection on
I
that
got
was
a belly
crazy.
button pecker. I could shove it in there.
Yeah, his wiener's so small, he's never shown it to me.
I'm
We've
just-
been friends for like 8 years.
Really?
That's crazy, right?
I think you've even seen my dick.
You have showed me your dick. Not without... I didn't ask.
I've heard stories
He just
about
walked up. He's like, hey, look at this fat girl sucking my dick.
it. That's cool.
And she was sucking it.
Fat girls are good at sucking
It was
dick.
a thick goth girl.
Nice. She was probably really good at it.
And I just got mad at you.
I don't
So
want,
mad.
I don't want listeners thinking I'm going around and showing it. Somebody else and I were talking about something, and so it was already pulled up in my camera roll, and then you happened to walk by, and I was like, all right.
I didn't walk by. I was standing away from you guys, just standing, minding my own business, and you walked up to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't
You
think
just
there's
looked
anything
like
wrong
you
with
just
it.
looked like you'd be a connoisseur of fat chicks
Oh,
with
no.
purple hair sucking
Hey,
dick.
man. I was happy you showed it to me.
It wasn't the first video like that he watched that day.
No.
That was his fourth fat goth chick sucking dick
Of course.
video.
I just don't want my friend to be in there.
That chick paid her little brother $75 to leave the house just so she could suck my dick.
That's
Oh,
badass.
nice, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, you and her little brother
Did
really
she
won
tell
out.
the little brother why he's getting the 75?
I don't know. Probably had to have.
Did her pussy stink?
I don't know.
Oh, you didn't get that far?
No.
You just got slurped up?
No, I'm
You
not
got
gonna
out of
fuck a fucking. Well,
there?
so
I like fucking fat girls.
I
That's
did.
awesome.
I did 2 pumps in her.
Oh.
But my buddy was there. He did most of the work.
Oh, you guys tag teamed her?
Yeah, it was a devil's threesome.
No wonder she paid $75. She was having a time.
The little brother just like, keep your money. I want to watch.
I would have paid her. I would have taken $75 just to do it at my house.
That's fair.
The fuck?
Then you're just a prostitute at that point.
Yeah, actually.
You're admitting to prostitution on a podcast.
Well, what is it? What is it if somebody else gets paid, but I'm still there? I'm just a sucker.
Oh,
No,
well,
you're just a guy getting his dick sucked. It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
true. Money is
That's
being
fine.
thrown around, and then dicks are being sucked. Then it's a risky line you're walking. To see how fat this girl was, were you and your friend less or more than her together?
Oh, less. So
That's good.
She was like,
That's good.
She was a hefty gal.
she was huge. She had like cottage cheese ass.
Mm.
So she was I knew her in middle school. We went to middle school together, and she was skinny then. And so
Nice.
she hit me up on like Snapchat.
And
was-
old middle school pictures.
No,
And you're like, oh,
No.
hell yeah.
Yeah,
this
she looks the
got it.
same. Fuck yeah.
You didn't even know it's the girl you knew. You just saw a middle school girl and was like, game.
she didn't send any pictures. So I just assumed that she still looked the same. And we showed up and I was like, Jesus Christ. Mom.
You assumed she still looked like a middle schooler?
No, I mean, just not. I didn't assume she looked like you guys. You know what I mean?
Together, formed into one beast.
Yeah, it was actually nuts because we were in there and so like I was like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. And so she's like, well, let's go out back and smoke. So we smoked a blunt out back and we walked back in. We walked into her room and me and my buddy are standing in the corner and she was like, I'll be right back. I got to freshen up or whatever. So she went to the bathroom, came back, and me and my buddy were talking in the corner and I was like, I don't think I could do this anymore. And he was like, we're already here. Like, don't be a bitch. And I was like, all right, but you got to dive in there first. And he's like, why do I have to go first? I was like, dude, I drove.
That's a good point.
You're going first. And so she gets back, lays on the bed with like a pillow like this. So it's like, I don't know. She was like propped up, but she was still like lumped over. Like I couldn't see her thighs. And then,
Jesus Christ.
and then I'll never forget it. My buddy literally just not even like a countdown. He didn't go like 1, 2, 3, anything. He just dove in there, started like eating her pussy and shit. And I was just like standing there. Like
badass.
We were like 20 at the time too. So like, this was like a long time. This was like 7 years ago. And so I was just standing in the corner.
And
just
you
like,
still have the video?
it's just in my camera roll. My camera roll has like 90,000 photos and videos. I don't delete anything. I have screenshots of directions to stuff in DC from 10 years ago.
That seemed like a brag a little bit.
I was in DC 10 years ago.
No, I was just flexing the 2 extra terabytes of space I
That is a lot
pay
of
for.
space.
If I dye my hair purple and start sucking your dick, it wouldn't be that much different from
It'd
that video.
probably be the same.
No, I bet you transed up could look better.
You think?
A little bit.
No, her hair was straighter.
He could straighten his hair.
It's the hair
And-
that throws you off?
It was. You got that like slash hair. Like I don't know what to be
Do you think
thinking
a
about
pink
that.
cowboy hat would help or
Fuck
hurt?
does that not my giant broad body? It's the slash hair that gets
Sounds
you.
like this girl had a giant broad body as well.
Because we're just talking about like getting head. I got to hold the hair. If I hold your hair, I feel like I'm going to be holding like a end of a Swiffer mop or something. With her, it was like holding like a Barbie doll or something. It was like, it was silky. It was smooth. She took time.
Yeah, it was smart of your friend to just dive into eating her pussy. It's like just cannonballing into a cold lake. Like you just get the worst part over with immediately.
Yeah.
You get used to it after a while.
I've eaten some stinky pussy before. I'll say the smell does go away if you just you got to put a lot of saliva on there.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really, it negates the cottage cheese smell.
I've only eaten pussy twice. I don't have to.
Wow.
You've only eaten
I
pussy
like
twice?
doing it.
Well, twice. Well, like 2 girls. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
one
Yeah.
girl multiple times.
That's what I got, like twice. Yeah.
You're bragging
Yeah.
that you're so handsome you don't have to eat a girl's pussy. I'm bragging that I enjoy it. It's a good time.
That's fun.
You have to enjoy it. You have to tell
I
yourself
like
that.
dirty smells. I like eating
the
new
fuck?
foods. It's really fun. I don't know. It's fine.
I like when I,
I
get a
also
little
have-
toilet
the whole
paper in
thing.
my mouth.
It makes my wiener hard.
I had trauma from the first time. Actually, I guess it would technically be 3, but the first time I ever tried to eat my ex-girlfriend's pussy when we were in high school or whatever, all I knew about eating pussy was the ABC method because I had heard it on the George Lopez show. But of course, in fucking George Lopez, they don't show him like
Asshole, butthole, cunt. So you lick her asshole, then you lick her butthole, and you lick her cunt.
2 different holes.
no.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys don't know the ABC method?
Yeah, of
Well, you
course.
just say the ABCs into
You
their
just
pussy.
spell
That's
out
what
the
that's what I
ABCs.
did. You're supposed to trace it on her pussy with her tongue.
You're
but
just
I just,
yelling it. ABC.
I thought I really did that. I didn't yell it, but I spoke it into her vagina because I thought that the like vibrations of my voice
Did
was
you
what's supposed
really
to get
do
her up.
that?
Yeah.
Oh, you.
And then I got to about E, and she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I was like, "Fine, I'm not trying it with you anymore."
Oh, so if
sounds
only-
like you
you've
were
only eaten
embarrassed.
one pussy, is what I'm saying.
No, that was when I was in high school, and then when I was with that married girl, she was like, "You have to eat me out," and I was like, "Well, you have to teach me then."
Aw.
And she had to like hold my head down there for me to just like not pull away and be like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
I will say, when you make a girl come from going down on them, they fuck so hard after that. They'll do anything you want to. So
You
I
get
think
them
it's
all
worth
worked
it.
up.
And if you're good at it, if you're not some fucking skismo that says letters into their
Skismo.
pussy, dude, I'm down there fighting for my life, dude.
I got good at it because I was eating her pussy for like 3-4 months, like every day. So I
You
was
got good
like,
at it with one woman. They're all
Oh, they all different?
It's all different. And
Oh, that's
also, women
bullshit.
are so stupid because they'll be like, just like that, nothing different, just like that. Okay, something entirely different. Figure it out. What the fuck? No, you said just. God damn it! It's not that we're bad at making them come; they just suck at coming.
Yeah.
Women suck at coming. It takes them a long time
Because I
to do
don't
it
think they're
themselves.
supposed to come.
No, it's not real.
They're not supposed to.
It
It's,
has nothing to do with the evolution or the progress of man. So
I mean,
No.
I think there's just a little bit of being a man. Well, because we evolve from women into men. Like we're the next step up. That's why we're so much better. So I think they still have remnants of like the stuff they would have been if they became a man. So if you just fucking rub it really hard for 40 minutes.
How come there's no like stories of like George Washington like eating pussy? Like, did they just not? Is this like a newfound
With those
generation
teeth?
thing?
How do you think his teeth got rotten?
I mean,
He just have his slaves eat his girlfriend's pussy
Well, he
for
had
him.
slave teeth, and black people don't eat pussy.
that is funny. He just
Do
brings
they
in a
not?
slave to eat pussy for him. Oh, Geronimo. Yes, master.
Yes, master. I
This is
will
the
eat
best
that-
job on the plantation.
I'll eat
love
that pussy.
I watched like vintage porn before, like old shit, like black and white, and they're eating pussy. It doesn't look good.
No.
It looks
The pussy doesn't look good, or the porn?
no, the pubes are insane.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like all this everything. It's just all hair. You can't really see anything because they weren't shaving it back then, and the assholes are also drenched in hair too.
A lot of
Hairy
hair.
holes.
My favorite thing about the whole like you're talking about that stuff is like back in the day, if like a guy like cheated on his girlfriend, or like they're whatever the fuck they were called back then, wench, cheated on his wench,
Yeah.
or is that the side
medieval
piece?
days?
No, I'm talking about like Salem witch trials. Like if the girl would be like, "I'm gonna tell your wife," he would just like come out and be like, "She's a witch," and they would just kill her. The whole town would just like
She
kill
charmed
her.
me to
That
eat her
is
pussy.
awesome, and I do think we should start bringing that back
Yeah.
to a certain
Yeah.
extent. It would just help every time some girl's like, "Your jokes are offensive. They induce rape." You can just be like, "Yeah, she does magic. Let's chop her head up. Hey, that bitch is doing magic. Let's kill her.
Let's pull her apart.
She got a black cat. She stinks. She might be a witch."
I want to see public hangings. We
That
missed.
still
We
happens.
missed that. What? Where?
Not
In other
here.
countries.
Yeah, in other
Oh,
countries they
I'm not
do.
flying to Indonesia just to see some
There's
kid get
one.
hung.
You're a connoisseur of death videos. There's one. The way they do it is they take like a lift, and they'll do like 7 dudes at once, and they have them all like attached to this lift. And
Like a
dude-
ski lift?
Nah, it's like a truck, and the dude in the truck will just be like, "Zzz," and it starts bringing the lift up, and all these dudes who are attached to it just start going
Yeah.
up.
They don't even do the break your neck
You're
method.
supposed to not move.
Huh? Oh, they move.
Yeah, well, that's why they die.
You'll
Oh,
die.
you
What are
would
you
move
talking
too,
about? You'll
Galyn.
die no matter what.
No, if you just don't,
strangling you,
if you don't, all right. I'm like, if you just stay still, you won't break your neck.
you'll just suffocate to death.
No, you want to break your neck. That's the thing.
No, that can't be better. Because
Yeah.
then you're still alive, and it's just massive pain, and then you fucking can't breathe the whole time. It's like
Well,
breaking.
if you break your neck, you just can't feel anything anymore.
I don't. Maybe.
Well, I thought I liked death videos. I used to watch death videos and stuff all the time until I ran into you, and
They're fun.
we were swapping videos because
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
I love these videos, and then you showed me one. I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm as into these videos as I thought I
What was it?
yeah, don't come into the
Oh, it was-
Thunderdome unless you're ready to play.
It
dog.
was some crazy one where like it was like a reverse scalping.
Yeah, he got his face ripped
Oh, yeah, you
over
told
his
me about
skull.
that.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm into
And the
these
guy
as
was
much.
just like, "Nyam, nyam, nyam, nyam."
Do you know how jealous I am that Adam showed it to you and not me?
You haven't seen it?
No, I want to so
I
bad.
will say, you say you didn't like it. You had a smile on your face the entire
Oh,
time.
I thought
you
it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious, but like I was watching it and I was like, I clearly don't enjoy this as much as other people do.
Mm-hmm.
I still watched it though.
What's your favorite death video?
Ronnie McNutt.
What is that one?
Oh, that's the shotgun blast.
Yeah, where he blows his head
when
off
he shoots
on
his head
Facebook
off.
Live.
It's the best looking
His
one.
dog comes and starts eating his brains.
Yeah, classic.
Most
It was
visually
classic.
appealing one for sure.
Good for him.
It's so crazy. Did you ever hear about what I did to David Santafanti?
No.
You shot him with a shotgun?
This fool, we were doing barrels and amps one night, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago or sometime. And dude, it was packed.
have
It was
heard
like
this
it was
story.
one of the most packed out nights they ever had there. There had to be like 150, 200 people in there. And he was like, "Oh man, I'm a little nervous for like my set." And we're just sitting off to the side. I was like, "You want to see a funny video?" And he was like, "Sure." And so I showed him the Ronnie McNutt video right before he gets on stage to like calm his nerves, and he starts freaking out. He's like, "Was that real? That's not real. That's not real, right?"
That's so
And
real.
he goes like I showed him like he goes on stage 45 seconds later, eats shit, and then he like
At
comes
least
up.
you can blame it on that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's
I
fine.
thought it was hilarious.
Then he Roddy McNuts himself because of that.
Well, I get it because when you watch it, it looks like a movie. The way his
It
head
doesn't look
explodes.
real. No.
but that is just what shotguns do to your head.
Yeah, there are death videos that are so real they don't look real.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not accustomed to seeing shit like that. Mike Eaton did this thing at Spider House Ballroom where he like recorded a 20-minute special. Then he got Heather Shaw and me to also do it too. It's called like the Breakouts. And I was probably like, 8 minutes away from going up. It was the first time I had a set like professionally recorded and stuff. So I was a little nervous too. Then Eli Halpern just comes up and is like, "Dude, have you seen this yet?" And just shows me the entire live stream from a grocery store mass shooting.
Oh, I sent him that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's a
guy that
good
just comes
one.
in. That one's crazy because he kills like all these black people, and then he aims the gun at a white guy, and the guy's like, the dude with the gun is like, oh, sorry, and then turns around and walks away.
Dude, he had the N-word all over his barrel, and it was so funny because that was in Buffalo. That's not what's funny. What's funny is my mom. Like an hour after that hits me up, and she's like, "Hey, I heard this guy live streamed it. You probably have the video, right?" And I totally had it already screen recorded, like in my camera roll. And I was like, "Yeah," and I sent it to my mom.
Did she like it?
I mean, I don't know about liked it.
Yeah, no one likes it. I mean, people like
Yeah,
it. Don't
I
get me
didn't-
wrong.
I didn't enjoy that happened to the people, but I enjoyed the
No.
visual of actually seeing it happen. It's different reading something than actually seeing it.
That's a good point.
It's interesting.
I
And
didn't
mass
enjoy that it
shootings-
happened, but I
No, it
enjoyed
shouldn't have happened,
It
but
already happened.
At least it happened on camera for us
Yeah,
to watch it.
Study.
Yeah.
To study and do whatever you do when you watch stuff like that.
Doesn't it always like? Don't you always think about like, yo, these mass shootings, and it's like, yo, that guy only killed like 8 people.
Yeah, mass
Yeah,
shoot,
because I mean, you look at some serial
look at-
killers. There's
how do you-
serial killers that killed like 80 people. That's just like that's more impressive in my opinion.
Yeah, that takes no. I feel like it's less impressive because I was always thinking about
But
like
that guy got away. Well, at least some of these guys got away with so many murders. These guys kill 8 people and don't even get away with it. Most of the time, they just kill
because
themselves and get arrested.
they're in the area and it takes so long or it's so quick for the cops to get there. You could murder 8 people throughout a year and not get caught. You just kill homeless people.
No, I was watching this thing now. They said the reason why we don't have serial killers anymore is because there's so many serial killers now that just know how to do it. They're like, there's so many unsolved murders, and so many
It's
of
like
them
70%.
could be like just 3 or 4 guys that are running around killing. Because the truth is, if you go somewhere where you don't live, and even if there's witnesses, and you kill someone that you don't know, odds are you're gonna get away with it.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, but
You could drive to Tennessee,
we're not telling people
some
to
small
do that
town, and just
also.
blast
Yeah, like,
somebody.
The
and just
Rainy
drive
Street
away.
Killer is like the first serial killer I heard of in a long time.
Well, I found out that
And he's not. It's not
gay
even
people.
big news.
And how many people have you killed so far?
It's like 21 bodies have found out.
That's pretty good.
And it's not even like a thing. It's not even like a news thing. I found out about it because like a Facebook group. I don't even think it's like big news or anything. Like it used to be, if a serial killer was around, everyone knew about it. It was like big national news.
Lock your doors. Don't go out past 8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
When the
we're gonna give
Unabomber was
him
around.
we're gonna give him a cool name,
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets like a supervillain
the
name, which
Midnight Scalper.
that's a cool name.
You know, there was just one guy that was his job. Hey Donnie, this guy he cuts women in half. The bitch halfer. Work on it. Work on it, Donnie. We'll be back in about an hour. We run at 8, so we're gonna need something a little better than that. All right. Give me a minute. Bring me some coffee and Adderall. I'm gonna pound through some ideas.
I feel like it's almost like propaganda because it's like Richard Ramirez. It's like that kind of sounds eerie, but then you know how many Richard Ramirez's there out there? Like they got to give this guy some other name.
Yeah, Night Stalker was
Yeah,
pretty
you
good.
gotta. Sorry, that's not cutting it. My cousin's Richard Ramirez. I can't.
But also, Night Stalker just sounds like a 70s thrash metal band. We are Night Stalker. Are you ready to die today? Are you ready? Are you ready to break into random women's houses and kill them brutally? Because that's what we do. And then it's just like not even like super hard music. You gotta bop when you stop and don't drop. Thrash metal lyrics never match the intensity of the band. Are you guys ready to bathe in pig's blood? Here we go. Jump. You might as well jump. All right, this isn't that wild,
The
actually.
Night Stalker has to be one of the coolest ones.
That's cool. Yeah, well, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer's just
He
Jeffrey
just eats
Dahmer.
guys.
There's some pretty cool ones. I was really into the
Wait,
last.
did Jeffrey Dahmer ever have a nickname, or was he just Jeffrey Dahmer?
They called him the queer eater.
Did he really?
I mean, so I'm sure some people have.
I guess he didn't have a nickname because he was never at large. They just found him
Yeah.
in all of it all at once. Whereas like Richard Ramirez was on the loose.
Ted
so like
Bundy
watch out
didn't have
for.
a nickname, did he?
No, but I don't think he was on the run either.
He was going across the country killing
There
people.
Yeah, that's why. So it was like
Well,
He
Well,
escaped
related,
prison
right?
twice.
It was like scattered stories. That's the thing.
Yeah, they
Because
didn't
Jeffrey
know.
Dahmer, I don't think they weren't finding out. Those are guys that you found out they were serial killers after they were found.
At the same
Yeah.
time, yeah.
There are some wild ones. I like the groups. There was one. It was like a group in Mexico that would like grab people from the border and bring them down there, and they had like a whole cauldron full of like body parts and stuff that they would put them in and like dance around. That kind of stuff you got to appreciate a little bit. You're like, good for them. They got friends. At least they have friends to do it with.
I think Ted Bundy's the funniest one.
Oh, hey,
The funniest one.
This kind of leads into a segment we've been talking about.
Is it because it was women?
Yeah.
Well, at least he was banging the right gender. But no, it's because
Can you pull up a picture of all the coolest fucking serial killers?
Oh, we're going to do the most handsome
We
ones?
should do which
Ted Bundy was
serial
not
killer would
hot.
make the best comedian.
I think
Oh, I'd
whatever-
say John Wayne Gacy.
Maybe.
he was a clown.
He had a
Clowns
goofy
aren't
sense of
very
humor.
funny, though.
Yeah, but no, he was a goofy guy. Like there's this whole interview. 'Cause he went
Janine
to-
Jones. You know about Janine Jones?
No. Is it a
Oh,
woman?
Yeah, Janine Jones. I watched a forensic files about this bitch. She was murdering children at she was a nurse and she would
I know about
pump
her.
them full of like propofol
Ooh.
and like kill them. And then they sent her. They were like, "What's with all these babies dying on her watch? That's weird." So they sent her to another like hospital, and all of a sudden like 10 more babies pop up dead, and then she got arrested.
Damn.
Janine Jones.
So at first they just thought she was a bad
yeah,
nurse.
she killed 11 to 46 infants.
That's happened a
She's
lot.
still alive.
That's pretty rad, though.
That kind.
I only remember her name because the forensic files narrator, he like says her name so badass. He's literally like
Janine Jones.
Janine Jones. I'm like, dude, that's
Janine
so
Jones.
badass.
Yeah, the forensic files guy rules. Debbie thought she was going to go home after packing up the groceries. She went home, but then she went to hell. Like, hell yeah, dude. Calm down. This girl's dead, though. Ooh, H.H. Holmes. That guy probably would have been a good, like, fucking Charlie Chaplin type.
Oh, yeah? What'd he do?
He was, like, one of the first big serial killers, I believe. That guy.
Oh, so
He
he's like
killed for
silent film
insurance
serial
and
killer.
business profits. At least he wasn't just like killing for the love of
yeah,
the game.
he had, like, a whole torture chamber. Like, one, two. It's
Oh, that's the
a
guy
really
that built
good
like the whole
documentary.
hotel or something?
Yeah, he had like a whole building that people would go and stay at it and be like, smells a lot like tortured dead people in there.
Well, whatever. It's cheap.
Zodiac killer, you got to give him props.
Yeah.
They
That guy
caught
never
him.
got caught.
No, they caught him basically.
Who?
They caught a guy that they were pretty sure was him, and before he could go to trial, he had a heart attack and died.
Oh, really?
So he was never convicted. But you ever seen the movie?
No.
Dude, you got to watch
movie's
that.
great.
It's one of probably the best serial killer movie ever made. I
What's
think.
it called?
Zodiac.
Oh, okay.
The one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Don't laugh.
Well, there are like three. There are three, and they're all one's like Zodiac, one's called the Zodiac Killer, and the other one's just called like the Search for the Zodiac. So the one that's just called Zodiac.
He was in
is
the
awesome.
70s and shit, right? Or the 60s?
And this guy, the reason why he got away with this,
He only
'cause
killed 5 people. Who cares?
No, he killed way more than 5 people.
Oh.
He
Yeah.
claimed 5, but yeah, there was just so many. He would just walk up on random people, picnics, people that like were parking out and like make out lanes and shit. You just walk up and blast them.
Well, which one's? I forgot his biological name, but he's the Golden State Killer. I do a bit about him on stage.
Yeah, I
I
don't
do
remember
a
it.
joke about the documentary because it's so funny because this dude like really so he like over 50 women in like the 90s and he got married. So he got married in like 1983 or some shit, and then from like 1984, these aren't the real dates, but
Yeah.
from like 19 let's say like a year after. Yeah, look at this. So he gets married in 1973, and then from 1974 until like 1999, he 50 women. He didn't get the lady didn't divorce him until 2019.
well, he was a good husband, obviously.
Yeah, he wasn't. Hey, you gotta
provided.
think he wasn't killing her. You
That's what
gotta
I'm
appreciate
saying.
that a little bit.
He probably like treated her well, brought her flowers after his expeditions.
BTK is really interesting too because he stopped.
Oh, I went to his house.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
an empty lot now in
makes sense.
Wichita. But it's the real reason. Like like I said, I do a bit about it, so I had to do a little bit of research. The real reason she didn't leave him is because of he was a cop, and so his pension or whatever. She stayed married to him so that she'd be collecting all that money while he was in jail.
Well, that's cool. He was a cop.
Okay.
He took all
and
that.
then the second the pension expired, she had divorced his ass.
Well, he took all that energy that most cops use to beat the shit out of their wives, and he just used it to kill other women.
Yeah, 51.
Smart.
Only
That's a
13
lot.
murders, though. That's not that bad.
51 is actually a lot. I think that equals to a murder.
You ever seen the?
5 is 1 murder.
I would say so.
I don't know.
He's still
See,
alive.
this is the thing. There was that big like thing where Jamie Kilstein was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he said, "I guess we should stop saying the RAP word. He's saying unconsensual
Oh, yeah.
forced sex because he's got to edit them all.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, unconsensual forced sex is worse than murder. And they were just like, you're insane. I don't know. I feel like for some people it might be. Like there are definitely people out there that might choose being shot in the head over having someone, especially dudes, having someone just bend you over a rock and just take you away.
I don't
Why am I
think
near
so.
any rocks?
Huh? He brought you to a rock.
I think
you should have known there was
worse.
something up
This
when he
is so
brought
funny.
you to a rock.
People also ask, what was the Golden State Killer's MO? I don't know, pussy? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Railing
Screaming
some
women?
puss?
His
Yeah.
MO, huh?
So you went to this guy's house or the BTK killer? house?
BTK. That's in Wichita.
That one I like
Yeah.
because he
Yeah,
stopped.
Dennis Rader. I want to get him on the podcast. He's still alive, and you could write him letters.
There's a wild documentary about the guy this guy killed a whole family. And
The
kid,
Oteros.
Yeah, and then the kid, there was one kid that wasn't there. So he came home to all that. And there's a whole documentary just about that kid. And it's wild because he's just like, I'm the unluckiest person in the world. Like, ever since that, my life just sucks. And you're like, oh, this guy's just superstitious. But while they're shooting the documentary, his son dies. His other son dies. He gets, like, diagnosed with cancer. You're like, damn, this guy's life does fucking suck. BTK's still coming after his ass.
Well, it's nuts. Look at this. This was 20 hours ago. They're connecting a new fucking dead person in the area to him.
Oh shit!
This guy was probably one of the more sadistic ones for sure.
Because he used to write letters to the families and shit, right? That was him.
Yeah, bind, torture, kill.
Yeah, I killed your wife.
Well,
bitch.
it's even crazier. Yeah, a 20-year-old word puzzle has discovered a missing Powasca's teenage girl's name. Crazy.
Well, hard warning on what. Not that the other stuff we said isn't super fucked up, but this one's really fucked up. He hung a young girl, and while she was dying, pulled her pants down and just jade to her dying.
He jade to her.
Yeah.
That was the same girl, the Otero
The
family.
Oteros, yeah.
and the parents were like alive watching.
Yeah.
Like just tied up. Yeah, that guy was crazy. I got a little bit of hats off to that guy. Like in a way.
All right. Yeah.
Only because,
there you go,
only
Galyn.
because, no, only because like he was doing crazy ass shit like that, and then he would just like come home to a normal family and be like, "What's for dinner?"
Yeah,
And, yeah,
well,
they
he just
said-
gets it out of his system,
His-
and he
How
loves
do you
his
not let something like that slip a little bit for like 30 years?
No, his
It's
son
like 30
said,
years.
His son said there was one moment where they were at the like dinner table and he did something and his dad just jumped up and grabbed him by the neck and was like, "I'll rip you into 50 pieces, you piece of shit." And then the whole family was like, "What the fuck?" And he just sat down like, "Sorry guys, bad day at the office."
Well, it's nuts because for 1974 to 1991, he had a family that whole time. So for 20 years, people were like freaking out. Like it was a huge deal in Wichita because it's like a
Yeah.
small community, huge deal. He would get home and he'd be like, "Make sure to lock the door, guys. That guy's out there somewhere."
He was a church guy, right? Like a pastor or something.
They're
Yeah.
like, we should have known because every time he would say that, he winked. And we always were really good. Dad, why'd you wink at that? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Dad, stop. There's another good movie about this, basically. It's basically a BTK killer movie. It's called Clove Hitch Killer. And it's the exact same thing. But it's from the son's perspective, and he's finding out that his dad, it's the same killer. The whole story is similar. They just don't call it BTK.
You just know how he got caught, right?
No, I don't remember.
The floppy disk?
specifically.
He floppy disked.
No, so he his last murder was in 1991, and then in 2005, I guess he just got the itch again, and so like he stopped sending clues because he would send clues to like the news stations and leave like stuff in like cereal boxes in mall parking lots and stuff, and so he like put an ad in like the newspaper or something to the police asking if a floppy disk could get like tracked because he wanted to like leave more clues and stuff.
And they were like, no,
And they're like,
never.
no, of course not. Yeah. And he was so old. That he just like trusted. He was like, yeah, floppy disk is just a thing. They can't track that. And so he typed something on it on the computer at the church, and then it just his first name and then the address, like the church or whatever, like popped up on it, and he left it like in a mailbox somewhere, and they just showed up. And of course they had a video of his Jeep dropping off the damn thing, and then out front of his house, they just pulled him out of his house and arrested him.
Damn.
From a floppy disk. The guy would have totally got away with it. They would never know who this guy is at all if he had never done that.
I feel like though all of them, whenever they talk about it, they get sloppy because they just kind of get tired of not being known for it. I think a lot of them kind of crave. Well, you see all these like videos and people talking about those murders. It's like, I did that. It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
You ever seen when the serial killer called Howard Stern?
Yes.
Have you heard that?
They like
That's a
talked him through
wild
it.
video.
That was insane.
Did that end up being real, or do you think that was somebody just doing it big? Because any one of us could pull that off for 10
they had
minutes.
a psychologist or like multiple psychologists investigate it, listen to it, and apparently they use it in like detective schools and stuff. They play that audio, and everyone's just like, it's like 1% chance that guy's making that up. The way he talks
Really?
about it, like his mannerisms, are like, unless that guy is someone who studies serial killers and understands how their minds work and behave, then
It was real.
It has to be real. And they never found the guy either. Because he's so, it doesn't sound braggy. It just sounds like some dude
I just did
shooting
it.
the shit about killing prostitutes with hammers.
That's the way to do it. Prostitutes with hammers.
That's
I don't
bullshit,
think you'll
bro.
ever get caught.
Why do people kill hookers? I don't
Because
get
it's
it.
easy.
Because no one cares about the hookers.
I care about it. You just took a fucking piece of pussy off the market.
I care about it too. Those ladies are hard workers. That's not an easy job. I mean, I've worked warehouse jobs. I can't imagine.
Underappreciated.
I couldn't imagine having to like walk around in a warehouse and then also be taken in a back alley and pounded out behind a Wendy's.
And there's always the 5% chance you're going to get hit in the back of the head with a hammer.
Those ladies got to charge more.
How much do they charge, Adam?
Huh? Not that much.
Okay.
I've heard. Well, I never end up paying them because I bashed their brains in with a hammer. Did I ever tell you about that time I got to talk to Howard Stern for a little while? It was pretty badass. Unrelated to the thing we were talking about earlier. But he thought I was cool. He did tell me
How
that I
would you
was
kill
pretty-
a person, Galen?
Eat them?
I mean, like,
Alive.
Eat them alive?
would
That
you?
has got to be the
Simplest
worst.
way.
Would you eat human?
I'd try
Like
it.
if somebody like
Let's
was
not
like,
even
oh,
bring this up.
I'm just saying if fucking Gordon Ramsay was like, yeah, I'm
Yes.
grilling up some thigh burgers.
Oh,
No,
a
if
professional
if
chef,
I was
yeah.
like in some foreign country and they were like, "Hey,
I'm
so
talking
this is
about
a
here.
this is a man finger over a bed of rice," I'd probably try it.
A
Will I get
a
in trouble
finger,
for
there
doing
can't
it?
be much.
It'd be like a little wing.
That's to be determined.
I'll eat
It'd be
it.
like eating a little tiny wing.
It'd be pretty fucking funny if it was Gordon Ramsay, and then you had it with him, and then you end up on like the Gordon Ramsay list, like when it comes out in like 10 years. Like, oh my god, my favorite comic ate Jeff Dunham's leg. What the fuck?
I'd eat Jeff Dunham's leg.
Yeah.
That guy fucking needs some shit like that to happen to him. That smug piece of shit walking around with his goddamn puppets. I hate that motherfucker.
Really? Does it even do anything anymore?
I hope not.
He probably has
I
a
hope he's-
residency
I hope
in
he's fucking
Vegas.
dead.
Vegas,
I
yeah.
hope
That
he-
seems like something he would
I
do.
hope
is
he
a
died
Vegas
in a
thing.
car crash. I hate Jeff Dunham.
Why do you
Okay,
hate Jeff
chill
Dunham?
out.
I don't like it, dude. All those puppets. What the
Adam's
fuck?
scared of
Dude,
puppets.
there's only like 9 of them. Dude.
There's a lot of them. There's more than there needs to be.
They're all kind of racist too, which is
I think,
weird.
look, if you're a ventriloquist comedian, do it, but have one puppet. You don't need a goddamn family of puppets. There's
Well,
too many.
I think I did Filthy Show, and then there was that guy with the puppet that
Yeah,
was in
Jake
town.
and Louie.
Yeah,
That guy rocks.
Oh. So you like that puppet guy?
I like that puppet guy. It's one puppet, and it's racist.
Yeah.
It's a racist puppet.
Jeff Dunham's the most racist puppet guy.
Did he do bad? I didn't see him that night.
I don't remember.
I've seen him do really good, and I've seen him do really bad. What's funny is when
Yeah, well, if he bombs, it's the puppet bombing. It's not him.
well, that was funny when he did the mothership. Because there's just some white people that racial humor, they even from a black person, they just can't handle it because they feel like by laughing at it, they're just
part of the
problem, or I think most of the times with people like that, they just actually are racist, but they're trying to hide it, and then it makes them
Right.
uncomfortable to even think about that kind of stuff. So this black guy is using it, and that's his whole act. Is he's a light-skinned black guy. The ventriloquist dummy is white, and then the dummy is racist. So they have a back and forth. And every time the black guy would say stuff, they'd all laugh. And then when the white dummy would say it, they'd be like, "Whoa, easy, come on. How well do you guys really know each other?" I'm like, that is him. You guys know that's fucking him, right?
People are so stupid.
I mean, I
with those.
fucking hope that's him. I hope that thing's not alive. Are you not a big movie guy? Do you like movies?
I love movies. Yeah.
You ever seen Magic?
No.
That's a fucking incredible movie.
That's a hidden gem.
Does
He's
that have
a-
to do with ventriloquism?
He's a ventriloquist
Yeah.
dummy who's just insane. It's kind of one of those movies where you're like, is the dummy really alive or is this guy like a psychopath?
Huh.
And it's just, who is it? Is it Anthony Hopkins?
Anthony Hopkins, like young
Oh,
Anthony Hopkins.
It's from the 60s or 70s. It's really good. There's some like incredible scenes in that movie. I'm big on that. Speaking of serial killer movies, though, you ever heard of Poughkeepsie tapes? That one's wild. That one you feel, because the whole idea of it is that they found all these tapes in a serial killer's house, and now they have access to all these tapes that he had made with his camera. And they're
wild.
Wild. They do a really good job of making.
Is there a
it seem-
scene where he just walks up on a little girl playing in the front yard and hits her in the head with a hammer?
He's just like, "Hey, you got to come with me. Your mom said it was okay." She's like, "I don't think so." And he's like, "Whatever." Quack.
Well, that's
Kadonk.
that's what I thought was so funny about Ted Bundy is that he would be not only he's in a little
Your
Volkswagen Beetle.
transitions are insane.
No, because we didn't. So we never talked about it. But
I
he
know,
would-
but a little girl getting quanked is you're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, that funny thing that I was thinking about Ted Bundy."
it was just so funny because he would literally be like, he would put a cast on and pretend he had a broken arm, be like, hey, can you help me put my groceries away? They'd be like, sure. And then he'd just crank him with a crowbar. So that's the funniest thing to me.
Well, that's how you have to do it sometimes.
That's the funniest thing to you. A man crowbarring a woman?
One of the most sadistic serial killers.
We were talking about
our
favorite movies earlier. You don't think Superbad's a little better than a woman getting crowbarred in a van?
I said my favorite thing about Ted Bundy. There's a favorite thing about everything. That's my favorite thing about Ted Bundy.
What's your favorite thing about the Holocaust?
The funniest thing that I think about the Holocaust that I think about quite often to make myself laugh is the fact that when we liberated the camps, these people were so malnourished for like all these years that these American ass people were coming in and be like, oh, these people are hungry, and they would give them candy bars, but because they hadn't they died because they hadn't digested chocolate in like 5 years, and so the enzymes and stuff they would all just die.
Yeah. Wow, so Americans actually killed more Jews than Nazis with chocolate, which is kind of worse. If you think about it.
Oh shit! I think that's funny.
That is.
Can you imagine being there like
funny.
This will help you, and then they just fall over and you're
Here's
like,
a sweet treat, you suffering people.
Oops, my bad.
Oh, my stomach.
My bad.
My stomach is turning.
It's just Sinbad for some reason. You ever give a Holocaust survivor a candy bar and he just die? You can't do that in no black family's house. They say, get off the carpet, don't die on my carpet. Get out the living room. You can't be in the living room when you're in a black family house. God damn.
You can't be in a living room when you're in a black family house?
I was watching Yeah, that was a whole bit he had. It's weird. Sinbad, he has these bits where he's like, you remember when you were a kid and you had a black family and you couldn't go in the living room? I never had a black family and I was always allowed in the living room, but I'm just there like, yeah, that is crazy. I wonder why. It's like, Adam, this isn't for you. But it's like his colorful garb and his movements. That man.
He did wear
Sinbad.
wild
I'll tell you
clothes.
what, Jeff Dunham, I hope, dies in the car crash, but I hope Sinbad's doing all right.
I hope Sinbad gets the love he deserves.
He just did a show for Netflix's Jug Festival.
Really?
It's like his first show, his first time on stage in years.
Good for him. I like Sinbad. I think
it was just a one-off, but yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all he has.
It's my dream to go on. I actually was very close at one point to going on like a full-on tour with the guy from Kid and Play. And also the guy that does the sound effects in Police Academy.
Michael Winslow?
Michael Winslow. Yeah, it was going to be me, Michael Winslow.
Kid and Play.
And not that I was like the draw. I was going to be the 20-minute opener. But it's just so funny. We were going to go to all these small towns. And I sent them my tape because my friend who like books those shows was like, hey, these guys are looking for an opener. Just heads up if you want to reach out to them. And I sent them my tape thinking like, there's no way. And they're like, we think you'd be really good for us. You should call us tomorrow. Maybe we can set something up. And then we fully set it up and it was ready. And then I ended up getting hired at the mothership and wasn't going to have weekends free. So
Michael Winslow.
Would have been a different route for me, for sure.
It would have been cool.
Are you that guy that opens for Michael Winslow and the guy from Kid and Play? Actually, I keep saying the guy from Kid and Play. His name is Kid and Play.
Yeah.
He is Kid and Play.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a rap group.
House Party. You ever seen
They
House
had
Party?
a movie and stuff.
Yeah. There was like 7 of them.
Did they have the movie before they were
It's
like
like
a rap group?
cheesier Friday House Party.
That was
Kid
like
and
way
Play.
It is Kid and Play. Okay. So
Kid and Play.
Yeah, the one with the big hair. That's the one I
That
would've
was
been
the
open.
famous one.
Yeah, him. That would have been the one that.
His handle is @kid from Kid and Play.
That's smart. That is probably the easiest
Pretty
way to
good.
find this guy.
Kid from Kid and Play.
Well, then you don't have to wonder who he is. You know who the fuck this guy is. Yeah, it's wild. Some of the people I've opened for. I opened for a magician in the middle of nowhere and did so good that he fired me. He was like, I guess you're just trying to steal the spotlight from me. Yeah, that does make you feel really good.
What's the dude? He was a crazy voice actor for Nickelodeon. He voiced Sheen from Jimmy Neutron. He voiced one of the penguins in Surf's Up. It's a Hispanic guy.
I can't believe I can't think of it.
Was it?
I was just watching you.
Jeffrey Garcia, yeah. So I did during the pandemic.
I was reading that. Who's Nick Turner?
Okay, listen to the guest, Adam.
Sorry.
Stop reading the wall. You're just pounding a beer.
Well, I was pounding a beer and I was reading.
He's telling a fun story about Gary Garcia.
Gary Garcia. I know who that
There's
is.
Jerry Garcia.
Oh,
Jerry Garcia.
Jeff Garcia. Yeah,
Jerry Garcia. He was
Jeff
on.
Garcia.
Jerry Garcia was on Jimmy Neutron. Didn't he voice one of the penguins from Madagascar?
Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia. So during the pandemic, out in LA, I did this gig. I did like a 10-minute spot on this show where he was headlining, but it was like a bar show. But there was like a ton of people there, and like, dude, I like legit, like for some crazy reason at a bar show, like leveled. And he was like, "Oh, dude, you got to come back and do this show again next Saturday, same place, same time." I was like, "Dude, I'm fucking down." And so then I show up, and he's like, I don't really feel like sticking around, so I'm just gonna go up first, do like 45 minutes. And then, you guys want to make this fun? And it was like me and like 4 other people that I've never met before. And he's like, let's make this like a competition. And I was like, what? Dude, it's like during the pandemic and shit. And this show, there was only like 50 people there.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's do a competition. $100 to the winner. Whoever, the crowd votes, whatever. And I was like, but you're not going to be here? And he was like, nah.
Fuck you, Jeff.
I was like, all right.
What, did he leave the 100 on the table?
So yeah, so he gives 100 to the host. And he's like, give this to whoever wins, and I better find out who wins. And so then he goes up, eats cock for like 45 minutes. Like
awesome.
And he's funny too. Like the first show, he like, he killed. Like it was great. And then this show, like, just eats cock. He does 18 minutes maybe. He's supposed to do like 45 to an hour, just like 18 minutes. He goes, I don't really feel like doing this anymore. Gets off stage, brings up the host, and the host is like, hey, we're going to do this. And it's bar people that don't give a fuck. And he's like, we're going to do this comedy competition. Like, the winner gets $100. Are you guys down? Silence. Like, people that don't give a shit. People don't give a shit. And he's like, all right, well, we're going to do this anyway. And so then, I forget who goes on first, sucks dick. I go up there, and I do fine for like the first 2 minutes, and I was like, I was like, I need that $100. I'm just gonna do like a shit, and so I do like a shit for the first 2 jokes. It does fine. They're now paying attention. They're now actually paying attention. Then I do this joke, this pro-military joke. It's a pro-military joke, and somebody in the front row was like, "You talking shit about the military, man?" And I was like, "What? No, it's like a pro." And I was like, "No, let me explain. I'm from a military family." And so then it leads into this other joke that I have about being in a military family, which again is a pro. Everybody in my family is served except for me, and so it's like a joke about like kind of like that. And they go, "No, you're making fun of the military." And so these people start booing me. And I'm like, And so like I'm trying to do another joke, and now the whole room is now just booing me. And so I just get booed off stage. Like at this fucking show, I was like, all right. And so like I get off, and then 2 more people go up, and they're like, all right, everybody get back on the stage. And I was like,
the vote. You're like, hey, I could pull this off. I get back up there.
I don't know why the fuck I went back up there.
Yeah, I would have left. I would have walked the fuck out of there.
But I go back up there, and then this guy with like a teardrop tattoo was like, "Oh, this fucking guy again." And so I didn't even have a microphone. The guy stood up, pointed at me, and then people were literally like threatening my life. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was a pro, like, couldn't it be like, you'd have to be brain dead to think I was actually talking shit on the fucking military.
Yeah.
And then so like somebody, like the bouncer comes over and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to escort you out of here." And I was like, all right.
And he's like, "Hey, I hate the troops too. Those guys are queers." Whoa.
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah, let's go kill a troop together.
That guy escorted me out, and so as we're on the way out, I found out. So this bar, I forget what it was called. I'd have to go to my camera roll because I save everything.
You save everything.
I have it in my camera roll.
I know. You have directions in DC. We get it. You're big time, Galyn.
He just has
We're not there yet, all right? We're doing our best on our podcast.
He just has a video of him jerking off to a woman hanging.
They didn't have cell phones back then.
I save everything.
You don't have those videos I sent you of me pounding out, right? You deleted those, you promised. I didn't mean to send 72. It was supposed to be like in the 60s range.
All right, what were you saying? You found out about
I was saying
the
that they're it was the Mongols biker gang, which is like the most notorious racist murderer bike gang in LA.
Nice.
And it was their home bar. And then I told Mike Eaton about this, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I did that show 4 weeks ago and bombed." And then when I was trying to leave, like I got off stage and like these bikers were like, "You got to get the fuck out of here." And he was like, "All right, well, I'm going to go close out." And he's like, they literally go, "What tab? Get out of here."
Oh, they
and
close it out
nice
for them.
They close it out.
Very nice.
That's not even that mean.
I think it was the opposite.
Yeah, no, I was like, "We're going to kill you."
They totally ran his tab up probably. And
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Did he tell him his tab?
I think it was Mike. It had to have been Mike.
Well, Mike, first time I ever met Mike was at Barrels and Amps, the show you were talking about earlier.
Oh, really?
You probably know this story, but everyone was just like, this guy just got done opening for Rogan. Like, he's so awesome. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna sit down and watch the set. And I was also following him. So I was like, I definitely want to see how it goes. And it's going great. He's doing really well. But then he does it's not like pro-police, but it wasn't like super anti-police either. But it was just something like Blue Lives Matter, and it was the same thing. Someone was like, you talking shit about the cops? He's like, I'm a cop. A lot of guys here are cops. They're like, good fucking luck getting home tonight. And like Mike just laughs it off, like, hey, okay, anyway, it's steaks. I like steaks. And just tries to go back into his bit. They're all just like, fuck you. You don't like cops. We don't like you, motherfucker. And like, not getting booed, but did get to the point where he had to just like be like, all right, I'm done, and then got off stage. And then I totally followed him. I was just like, that fat piece of shit. He should like cops, that pussy. I was like, I know who he's going to call if someone steals his steak. And everyone was like, yeah.
That's so funny.
And then he had to sneak out the back hard.
Why are they even doing comedy in a fucking biker club like that anyways?
Crazy. And they weren't there at the first show. That's what was crazy about it. I had no idea. The first show, there was no one there. It was like just a crowd of people there for the show.
They didn't come tonight.
They didn't come that night. And it was the same. It was like a week later on a Saturday.
Not only are they doing comedy at this crazy biker, they booked the guy that plays Sheen from Jimmy Neutron to do it.
And I don't know if they booked. He was there every Saturday. That's why he was like, I don't feel like doing this.
That's
like
fucking crazy.
He was like, yeah, it was this guy named Ryan Radusinovich. He's a producer. He still produces stuff out in LA. But he was producing this, and then it would just be Jeff every Saturday, because then Jeff would take him on the road. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Chris pissed off a bunch of banditos.
I did. I pissed off a bunch of banditos.
What is that? Is that like Mexican?
That's
like
that's our sketchy biker gang.
Yeah.
Oh,
those
really?
guys like legitimately kill people. They had a whole thing where
They're here in Austin?
they're like all over Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, one of their big stories was that one of them was banging the 16-year-old girl, and then I guess she stole like meth from him or something. So they went over to her house and cut her 8-year-old brother's head off in front of her, and then put it in her lap and tied her to a chair. So her parents had to come home just with her freaking out with her brother's head in her lap.
She could have shaken the head off of her at least.
Yeah.
She didn't want it that bad.
Some would say they
kind of a bitch.
overreacted a little.
Well, she gave the meth back.
I know.
She smoked a little
They
bit of it.
didn't need to cut
The
the
8-year-old
She was
brother.
16 years old stealing meth.
Yeah.
That kid was a goner.
She was also
Yeah.
fucking a bandito.
Well, she didn't die.
Her parents probably didn't give a fuck about
Oh,
that.
they didn't even kill her?
No, they let her live.
Why
But
the fuck did the brother have to die? I don't know. I'm not,
He just comes in, he's like, hey guys, I have Sega Genesis.
We're Nintendo
We love
guys.
Super Nintendo. Super Mario World is way better than Sonic.
So I was doing a show at Poor Choices, and these fucking banditos were talking so loud in the back.
now you know that's what they are. Like
no,
if
he
they
didn't
have,
know.
like,
He didn't know at the time.
I
I
don't
knew
know.
who they were.
Adam
based on what?
told me
They wear jackets that
Okay.
say Bandito.
Bandito.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
That's like the Mongols have their own fucking thing.
Yeah.
No, they do, and I was well aware. I was like, those guys are like legitimately.
They told me not to say anything to them,
and Chris did.
but I was really drunk, a lot of whiskey, and they were talking, and I'm like, "Hey guys, you guys are talking way too loud," and they flipped me off. I'm like, "Yeah, you bunch of Sons of Anarchy wannabe faggots. Why don't you go jump on your bicycles?" And
and they got mad.
we're walking
And
to the
the-
car, and
They
we
followed him to
me
his
and my
car.
roommate get in the car, and one of them just slides their hand across the trunk and flips us off like he was following us the whole way and we didn't notice him. And then on the way home, we're just driving. I just turned to my room like, well, he didn't stab us or do anything, so he is kind of a faggot.
A little bit, and then didn't.
Every time I told this story on stage, one was in the audience.
Yeah, I was about to say we went and did that same place, Barrels and Amps, and Chris told it, and the bartender was like, "My husband's a bandito. We'll chop your
She's like,
eight-year-old brother's head off."
he should leave. My husband wants to kill that faggot.
To be fair, though, no one has killed him.
Oh, they
So
are kind of sissies.
You
dude.
are a fat comedian. They haven't even taken
Yeah.
you down.
Well,
So
I'm
far,
not-
all they got is an 8-year-old kid under
I
their
know.
belt.
Yeah, easy pickings.
I'm not an innocent child, the fucking douchebag.
If I bragged every time I cut an 8-year-old kid's head off, you'd fucking never. I'd never
never
shut
see
up.
you.
I keep that shit under wraps.
That is a pretty rad thing they did though. They put it on her lap for the parents
Yeah,
to
it sounds
see.
like a Goosebumps episode.
Well, where were the parents at?
Like out.
I don't know.
Probably seeing Blair
The
Witch
teenage
Project.
girls fucking a
They
biker
went
doing
to go
meth.
see the Filthy Show every Saturday at Creek and Lake.
And they had a hell of a time.
And
They
then
even
they
said
came home.
They said that it was so funny that they weren't even that bummed about what happened after. That's a real quote we got from those nice people. What are we at? Are we at about an hour? Yeah, we got enough.
It's getting hot in this room.
It's cooking. You guys are way bigger than I am, and I'm sweating.
We're talking about little kid heads.
And I'm also getting horny. That's the problem, is how horny I am. Well, yeah, this was basically just a serial killer doc.
It was fun.
We talked about the Holocaust. We talked about Ted Bundy. You guys never told me what you guys think the funniest thing about the Holocaust is. I need to know.
I don't know. It's hard to say. I like to think that maybe there was like camp rivalries.
Those douchebags at Auschwitz.
Those douchebags down the road.
They're having a field day. The Jews can barely do tug of war. They're so weak.
Are you ready for the summer? Are you ready for the springtime? Yeah,
of course. Shit.
Real meatball situation.
That's funny. That's funny.
Well, this will be out in what, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks? If you got anything coming up you want to plug, also feel free to plug like your Instagram, anything like that.
Cool. It's just my name. I'm sure it'll be in the description. July 12th, I'll be headlining a big room in Bend, Oregon, July 12th. So come on out to that. That'd be huge.
Dude, I love Bend, Oregon.
Yeah, Bend,
Have you
Oregon
been out
rules.
there before?
Oh, yeah.
It fucking rocks. Is it that theater they got?
I have no idea.
They have a really cool theater. There was a show called The Dope Show where it went on tour. It's just one of those, like, you do a set and then you get super high, you do another set kind of shows.
Oh, okay.
And we went out there. Fucking beautiful, really cool town. They got the last Blockbuster out there.
Yes. Yeah, I've been out there a few times. I've headlined there 4 times at this brewery called Craft Kitchen and Brewery. And then this is at some other place that they said holds a lot more people. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, that theater tends to be like their one place where a lot of comedy shows tend to happen. But yeah, it fucking rocks.
July 12th coming out. Tickets at bendticket.com.
Okay, yeah, and for us, I'm _@Luckey on Instagram. Chris is C Rees.
Comedy.
Oh yeah. Also, both, by the way, I don't think either of you guys follow me on Instagram.
I don't follow. He follows one person, and it's his fucking girlfriend. How gay is that?
That's pretty gay.
That's gay as fuck. He's like, that's sweet. It's not sweet. It's stupid.
That's more of an excuse because I know you follow more than one person.
It is.
So.
I don't follow for you to be like, none of you guys follow me on Instagram.
I just checked.
I don't follow
I checked
that
when I was
many
on the way
people.
here, and I was
That's
like,
gay.
I just typed in your guys' names. I was like, all right.
Most of the time when I follow somebody, it's because they like sent me a message. And then I'm getting it out of my message request, so I'll follow him back. So that's pretty much all it really is. That's why I follow Joe Rogan. That motherfucker wouldn't leave me alone. He kept just, please come work at the mothership. I'm doing other stuff, dog. I'll see if I have time. We also have the Filthy Show podcast Instagram. You gotta follow that, guys. This will die. We're not doing great. We need people to watch. You got to like the fucking videos. 3 of you liked the last one, and at least 100 of you listened to it. So I don't know if for sure there's ways, but I'm pretty sure we can figure out a way to find out where some of you guys live. And I'm not saying I would come to your house and do any risky banditos-like business, but I'm not completely promising that I won't. So like the fucking videos if you like having your kids' heads attached to their bodies. Not that I would do any of that stuff. I would never do any of that stuff. But just do it. Subscribe to the fucking the Creek and Cave Studios. We'll get on Spotify one of these days. Quit asking me about it. Just fucking Spotify's gay. I mean, I don't want
on Spotify.
No, but I'm worried that if we get on there and we get bigger than Joe Rogan's podcast, then he's gonna be all bitchy at me. That's my worry about it. And what's the other stuff we're supposed to say, Justin?
Comment
on. Oh yeah, comment. Write comments. A lot of you hate us. I know that. Write it in comments. Let us know how much you hate us. I live for shit like that. I love when people are mean to me. It's the only thing that makes me feel alive anymore. And anyway,
did you do share yet?
Yeah, share shit. I will be live streaming my suicide. I think it's December 8th, 2029.
We're gonna have all the best comedians
that's a long way away.
Well,
you're gonna bump that up.
I'm trying to get the numbers up.
Yes, the same.
So RSVP your spot now. There are still 37,000 RSVP spots left, and I'm only allowed to have 37,000. So you guys got to start filling that out. Yeah. Well, anyway, Reese's Pieces. Everyone take it easy. Lemon squeezy. And if you're offended by this stuff, call me. Call me. Let's talk about it.
What's your phone number?
It is 911. All right. Thanks for having me, guys.